Hello, everybody, and welcome. My name's Dustin Pass, and today we're going to talk about our Forex Black Book affiliate program. We've got a lot of great information to cover, and I think you're going to be pretty excited about what we have in store. So let's get started. In this webinar, I'm going to talk about a number of things. First, I'm going to give you a little bit of background about our company history. I want to make sure that you know who you're working with. All right, it's very important that we have a strong relationship with all of our partners, and part of that is understanding who we are and where we came from. The next thing I want to talk about is product choice. And when I say product choice, I mean how we choose what product we're going to put to market, what we're going to be showing your prospects, what is the process of coming up with that choice. We're going to talk about our launch process. This is from start to finish. I want you to understand how we build a relationship with your prospects and nurture that relationship and then sell them on our products and generate commissions for you. That's obviously the primary focus here is to generate commissions for you. We're going to talk about our testing process. I think testing is very important, and I'm going to explain a little bit why. Some affiliates don't do a lot of testing, but we do a lot of testing. So we're going to cover that. We're going to talk about cookies. Everyone kind of has a different opinion on what is the best cookie, what they like to get involved with. You know, sometimes if you tell them you're first in, they're like, oh, I don't want to mail that. Sometimes if you tell them you're last in, oh, I don't want to mail that. So we have a great solution. It's a hybrid solution. I think everyone's gonna really appreciate what it does. So we're gonna go over that. We're gonna talk about commissions, and of course, when you get paid, we're gonna make sure that's crystal clear because ultimately that's what we're all here for, right? To get paid. And then we're gonna talk about our launch schedule. I want to make sure you know what the key dates are, and this way you can put them on your calendar well in advance and be ready and good to go. Now let's talk a little bit about the webinar itself, or I guess let's just move into company history, I should say. Um, the company started years ago, and really was a management company. I worked for a small little um, training type company as a corporate trainer, and I did two things. I trained their trainers, if that makes sense, as well as managed a company account. That was kind of my start in the business. From there, I started managing funds on a larger scale, to the point of millions of dollars, well into seven figures. So that's kind of where I started in the Forex and where the company history began. From that, I had a lot of people ask me, well, you're doing well. Will you teach me how to do this? So from there, we started selling products. That was in 2006, is when we really started selling products, and we used a much different model back then than we use now. We were actually 100% monthly and 100% word of mouth. We did no paid advertisement. We had no affiliates. Everything was pretty much word of mouth, and we were making 6+ figures a month, each and every month on a $300 a month product. So we did very well. And over the years, of course, we've had to adapt. The market's changed, and the way prospects respond to offers has changed as well. So now we're very involved in the affiliate niche, and we're really good at what we do. We do 2 to 3 multi-million-dollar launches every year, and that's not very common in our niche. There's not many people can say they do more than one launch a year that does $1 million. In fact, most companies can't say they do $1 million launch at all. So the bottom line is we've got a formula. It works. We know how to sell your prospects on our products, and ultimately your prospects like our products because they work. That's what it comes down to. It's a win-win for everybody in the relationship here. Let's talk about product choice. For a long time, we've used a publisher's model, and what that means is we don't set out to develop a product with the purpose of selling it. A lot of companies do this. I personally think it's a bad idea. I think the motives are in the wrong place, and the product is not necessarily going to have any longevity. So what we do is we reach out to professional traders, essentially anyone who's got a successful strategy with a good track record that goes back for a couple of years. Somebody who knows what they're doing, and we work a deal with them. And essentially we take their product. It's not a product yet. We take their strategy, I should say. We develop a product around it, and then we take that to market. And this way it ensures that the product we take to market is a high quality product that actually works versus just something that was thrown together that's got a good hook and people are going to like. We find products that have both. They're solid products that work and they have a good hook. That's the model we've used in the past. Now, I started out initially selling my own strategy. But of course, there's only so many people in our niche, and selling thousands and thousands of them at a time, it's time, at some point you've got to find new strategies, and that's why we migrated to the publisher model. Now, what we're doing this time is a little different. There was a strategy that I used as a fund manager that I've never ever divulged, primarily because it's not something that I wanted to give out. Recently, we have taken that strategy and basically hit it in some indicators. So now I'm able to give the strategy out to a prospect, let them trade it without actually giving up the goodies. So it's a win-win. I keep the secret safe, and we're still equipped with a product to take to market that's very very effective. In fact, people are eating it up. We're in beta now, and we just released the demo version, which is the full version. It's just a trial, is what it is, and people are coming back with phenomenal results, saying they're making thousands of dollars, and it's blowing my mind. So your prospects are going to eat it up. It's a solid strategy. I personally used it to manage, like I said, $1 million plus fund. So the product is great. It's a trend trading strategy, and a lot of people can relate to this. It's something that people have heard all their life. I mean, as far as their trading life goes, you want to trade with the trend, and this really does appeal to that exact concept, and people just they respond to it. That's the bottom line. They've heard it for so long, they respond to it. So here's our launch process. All right, we have a fairly in-depth launch process. We start out by giving them some free software. And again, this is part of what I call phase one. The first week of our launch is all about building a relationship with your prospect, building their trust, letting them use the software because it does work. So we have, kind of an advantage in this market. We can let them use our software because we know they're going to benefit from it. And, from there, we provide them with some demonstration and some basically a training video is what it's disguised at. But ultimately, in addition to the training, what they're seeing is several examples of the software being used successfully, making thousands and thousands of dollars in real time in the live market. We don't do the screenshot thing. We actually, record the screen when the entry signal pops up, record us entering the trade, and then as the trade progresses, we record the management. So they're learning. It's a very good tool to build trust, and they're also seeing the results. And we've had a huge response in building trust and really just having a really strong launch. Then the third part is the secret insider information. I have a contact that I have made just from my years in the market who essentially works with a very large hedge fund operator. And we're talking about like a multi-billion-dollar hedge fund. And this hedge fund shares data feeds with 5 or 6 of the world's largest institutions like banks and a couple of other hedge funds in the world. And they all use the same algorithm, and they all share their flow data to run this algorithm. So this algorithm essentially spits out levels, and it took a trade that I was in down almost $500,000 and turned it into $1 million win. They called a level to the pip. It was amazing. We actually marketed this back in 2007, 2008 at $800 a month, and people ate it up. In fact, the only reason we quit is because we kind of lost contact with our contact. It's just to make a long story short. In any case, that communication has been renewed. That data is available again, and we're going to be sharing this secret inside information with your prospects. And again, they're going to eat it up. It is amazing to watch, to actually see the market run up to these levels almost to the pip. It's almost like magic. It really is. So this is the first phase. We've just finished. The first 3 content pieces is phase 1. Now we're moving into phase 2, which is sales week. And this is when we open up the sales page and push your prospects to our sales page. Now, of course, there is an early bird. And people respond really well to the early bird because we build a lot of anticipation, and they're ready to go when the time comes. And when we open the sales page up to you as an affiliate, the first day of the next week, a lot of times we're close to being sold out already, so it creates a massive amount of scarcity. And the sales week is really an exciting week. Next thing we do is we pull in some training webinars. And this is a training webinar, but it's also a sales webinar. You could say it's a sales webinar disguised as a training webinar. And we convert anywhere from 10 to 12% on average across all of our webinars on a $2,000 price point. So very strong conversions. So you want to make sure your prospect makes it to the training webinars. Now, we do have a last chance. This is going to come in week 3. Our launches are 3 weeks long, and I'm going to break down the key dates and how this works. It's always good if you can take part in Last Chance, but we do understand that your schedule books up. But we would like to have at least 2 weeks of you mailing for us, and that's going to ensure that you get the best possible result. So let me talk a little bit about our testing process. A lot of people don't test, but we do, and there's a reason for that. And I want to tell you why. It's something that I relearn every time I test. Have you ever had an amazing idea? One that you just knew was going to be the next big thing. All right, whatever the case may be, it was an amazing marketing idea. You put all this time and effort into it, it became your baby, and you just knew the second you put the page up and you started driving traffic to it, you were going to get 100% opt-in. I mean, you just knew that there was no way someone could come to this page and turn away. It just seemed ridiculous. And then when you finally put it up and you turned it on and you sent traffic to it, it was a horrible opt-in rate. I'm sure you've probably experienced that. If you've done any kind of testing or any kind of launching, I'm sure you've experienced that. I have definitely experienced that. Fortunately for us, we test, so when we experience that, I experience it alone. I don't experience it with your prospects, all right? I respect you enough to test first so that these things don't happen while you're sending traffic to my site. A case in point, we did a test on this launch that we're doing now. We spent almost a week and a half working on just subject lines and content pieces for one squeeze page. Halfway through that, we had our primary content for our email. We had our primary subject line that did the best. And then we ended up going through like 8 or 9 revisions of the squeeze page, all to find out that conceptually it just didn't work. We couldn't get over 28 to 30% conversion. So we scrapped it and started over. That's why we test. We got back up above that 50% mark, which is where I like to be on our opt-ins on the front end. And in any case, we do a lot of testing, and that's our testing process. We start with just a basic squeeze page. Then we test subject lines on emails, 5, 6, 7, 8 subject lines, just to see what gets the best open rate. Then we take the best subject line, and then we test 3, 4, 5 different email bodies. And then once we get the best email and the best subject line, then we start making changes on the squeeze page. And then we get our opt-ins up from that side. So it's a very involved process that we go through, but it's only fair that we put in that time and effort because I know your contacts are valuable to you. You spend a lot of time and money building your list, and we want to make sure that you're going to get the most out of your money. So, as I said, we split test the subject lines for open rates. We go through and look at the body, make sure we have good response for click-throughs. Then we split test the landing pages for the type, the content, the background. When I say type, I'm talking about static versus a video. Then, the content, headlines, what the content in the video is, background, colors, imagery. Just you'd be surprised what little things can make a substantial difference. We had a single opt-in form in the middle of a page with a background image, and then we tested 4 other background images, and there was about a 12% difference in conversion based on the background image alone. So pretty amazing stuff comes out of background, or comes out of testing, I should say. We actually also look at the bounce times within our videos. So if we have a video up, when are people leaving? If they're leaving at 2 minutes and 30 seconds in, well, what's being said there, and how can we adjust that? How can we fix it to capture their attention a little bit longer? So a very thorough testing process, and then we just repeat that over and over again for each content piece within our launch sequence. So again, very effective. Now let's talk about cookies. All right, first in cookies, this is essentially going to reward the person who mails early. All right, but it tends to somewhat exclude the latecomer, and it doesn't exclude them. It just, I would say the early bird has a little bit of an advantage. All right, because he's already cookied these people. Now on the other hand, last in, this is going to reward the strong mailer, or the guy that just keeps mailing over and over again, but it's going to hurt the guy who's got a busy schedule, and can't mail every key mailing. So what we decided to do is use a hybrid cookie. All right, what we're going to do is we're going to run first in cookies through the first 2 days of sales. All right, and this is going to include the early bird. So Sunday, Monday, and then midday Tuesday. All right, we're going to shift it over to last in cookies. All right, so this way you're going to get 2 full days of sales on the first in, and then we're going to go to last in through the remainder. And what this does is this ensures that everybody who mails the beginning of the launch, basically those who commit to the beginning of the launch, have the most benefit on the front end of the launch. And those that mail the hardest at the end are going to have the most benefit on the end. Now here's the cool thing. For those that mail the entire launch, you're going to get the benefits of both. And most people mail our entire launch, so it doesn't matter. But in this particular situation, everybody wins, because if you can only mail the beginning, you still have several days of sales where your cookie is going to be valid. If you can only mail at the end, well, then you're good because your cookie is going to be valid then as well. So no matter when you can mail, whether it's the beginning or the end, you're going to have a great chance of making some phenomenal money. And I believe that those who work the hardest should be rewarded the most. So those who mail the entire launch, they are clearly going to be responsible for more sales, and therefore they're going to get more sales credited to them based on this hybrid cookie setup that we're using. We've got a lot of great feedback from this. So this is the way we'll be setting up our cookies, and the way they will be tracking. Let's talk a little bit about commissions. We've got a $2,000 product, 30% first tier on the product, and we've got a 10% second tier. Now, we do have a 30-day money-back guarantee, but we have packed this package full of retention items. All right. First off, we've included a webinar, a daily trade room, really is what it is, that is going to allow them to be in front of somebody every day, asking questions, getting essentially hand-fed, making sure they have what they need to do what they need to do and to be successful with this strategy. This has been key for retention. It's put our numbers through the roof and really just decreased refunds substantially. We have a 50% payout to all affiliates on the following month. So as an example, any sales made in February would be paid out by the 15th of March, and that's at a 50% rate. And this just gives us 50% holdover to cover any kind of refunds that may occur. And then you'll get paid out the additional 50% on the following month. Now, before I get into the launch counter, let me drop back here. Let me talk a little bit about recurring. All right. In addition to the $2,000 upfront fee you're going to get paid on, you're also going to get paid on our recurring. And we have two different recurring fees. We have one that's $79, and it includes access to the indicators. It includes access to the trade room, access to the Trade Finder software, access to the members area, and the training information. All right. Now that's $79. It's very, very, very high retention because they get so much for their money. And keep in mind, they've just paid $2,000 to learn how to use these indicators. So there's also a little bit of mental, energy at work here, because they're thinking, "Man, I just spent $2,000 to learn this. I might as well pay the $79 so I can apply it." This will start 3 months after. All right, they get 3 months access to everything. Then the $79 will start. Now the bank flow is its own separate thing. That's the insider information I talked about. That renews at $297 after 3 months. And the commission rates are the same across the board on the renewals as well. So you stand to make a lot of money annually from this as well as upfront. This model provides you a really good bang for your buck right out of the gate. So as your prospects are buying the product, you're going to make money right up front on a big high ticket price item, but you're also going to get a really nice residual revenue that comes out of this product launch. So really just a great offering with some really, really good commissions on the back end. So let's talk about the launch calendar. Phase one, as I said, is building a relationship. We've got the free download, and there's going to be 2 days you can mail for the free download, the 4th and the 5th. This is a key email. Either one, not both, but either one. If you can mail both, then that's even better. But you need to mail one of these days, either the 4th or the 5th. And I want to remind you that we're first in on the front end, so it's a good idea to mail on the 4th because those first in cookies are going to be locking in essentially your profits on the open. Then we've got the training video, the proof video that I talked about. This is going to be on February 6th and 7th. This is also a key date. Not both dates, but one of the dates. So either the 4th or the 5th, and either the 6th or the 7th. And then the 3rd is going to be the insider contact revealed, which is going to be on the Friday, February 8th. There's 3 key dates, all right, on week 1. You can do it Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, however you want to break it up. But there's 3 key dates here, and it's important that you get in all 3 of these dates because we're kind of laying out the sales page almost in this first phase. So it's very important that they see all these different components. and they see the indicators working and they actually download it and get it in their hands and profit from it. All right, that's what's going to be the ultimate deciding factor. Week 2, as I said, is all about sales. Official release is going to be on February 11th. This is going to be a Monday. This is a key date. You're going to want to mail Monday. Almost sold out is the 12th. This is essentially us saying, you know what, we had the early bird, and then after Monday, we're almost done. You know, this is it. So we're going to be pushing scarcity and more results. We're going to have a training webinar email on the 13th. This is definitely one that you're going to want to mail. This is a key date. This is to get them to the webinar that we convert very highly at. I will say this, that we also use an exit page from the sales page, pushing them to our webinar. So if they don't purchase from the sales page, we're still going to be showing them a webinar registration opportunity. All right. We really want to get people into this training webinar because, as I said, we convert very, very effectively in our webinars. And then, of course, the February 14th is going to be 24 hours remaining, and we're going to close the doors Friday, February 15th. This is essentially the launch week and the closed deal. Now, we do have a third phase, which I mentioned was Second Chance. There's 3 dates on this. February 19th, we just, you know, the typical, a few copies remain, some wires didn't come through, you know, whatever, a couple of returns, whatever the case is, we've got a few copies left. Get them while you can. And of course, the next day we've got 24 hours to go, and then we're closing it down on the 21st. This is the third phase. Now, no key dates on the third phase. We've only got 6 total key dates for this launch. 3 in week 1, 3 in week 2. And if you can mail the phase 3, I highly recommend it, because as you probably are aware, the very first opening phase, you know, that day 1 and day 2 is really big. The closing day 4 and 5 of phase 2 is really big, and then Second Chance is obviously really big. A lot of times Second Chance will pull you know, a very large percentage of what we pulled in the whole first week just during Second Chance. So if you can mail this, I definitely would recommend it. Let's talk about the annual calendar. All right, you're going to do really well on this launch, and that means you're going to want to mail some more for us because you're going to want to make some more money. Of course, this launch is the February 4th through 22nd. But we're also going to have a launch May 20th through June 8th, August 5th through 24th, and November 4th through 22nd. So make sure you get those dates in your calendar and lock those dates in now, because you know, we're ready to make a bunch of money, and you know, we want to. In order for us to make a bunch of money, I've got to pay you a bunch of money. We typically pay out in excess of 7 figures a year to affiliates, and you know, we're working on doing that per quarter is what I'd like to see. So if you want to be part of that, definitely write down these dates, and we definitely look forward to seeing you on the 4th through 22nd. If you've never mailed for us before, let's start there. We'll prove ourselves to you, and then you can jump on board with some of these later launches. So at this point, I'm going to open it up for any questions that you may have. If you're not an affiliate for our program yet, go to this link. Make sure you enroll, get set up. Contact Jeanette Sims. She's our affiliate manager. Her information is going to be nearby this this display. So in any case, I'm gonna go ahead and step down, and I'll let Jeanette take over, and she can answer any questions that you may have.